What's up, guys? My name is Con, and we're back today with more Railroads Online, joined by Hyce. We're in our coal hot tub. It's very nice.
It's great. It's exfoliating. It's really good for your skin, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure this doesn't, like, coal dust is not at all bad. No one has ever died from coal dust ever in the history.
Black lung is not a thing.
Yeah, definitely not.
It's fine. Speaking of black lung, I sound like I have it.
Yeah, you have.
I promise. I'm just.
It's been a couple videos, Hyce. You haven't gotten better. I hope you go and see a doctor at some point.
I had the brief surprise. I'm better. Like, I felt great, and then I decided to go to work, and then I came back, and then I was dead. So yeah, I was not better. That's the secret. So we're working on it. Okay.
So today we're doing something exciting. In the last Switchback episode, I don't know when it was. A lot of people complained that we didn't have the switchbacks set correctly. So we've gone ahead and edited the whole switchback. We've changed all the lead tracks to be 300 meters long instead of 100 meters. So a lot of extra space. And they all have a 2% incline on them, which just helps you slow your train down and get it moving in the opposite direction. So our thought was we would take all the rest of the coal that was at the coal mine, which unfortunately was not enough to fill all these hoppers. It's 77 coals, so we're 3 short.
Close.
Yeah, but it is what it is. And anyway, we're going to go to the switchback. We're going to push it back with the climax, and then we're just going to glide it down the entire switchback. And presumably, if we're good enough brakemen, we should be able to stop on the 2% and then start rolling back down the lead track and do the whole switchback without ever needing a locomotive. So
here's hoping. I'm excited.
I just hope we don't bin it. Oh, you know what? I should probably save. I'm going to save right now.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah, I feel like we might bin it. I really hope we don't, because it's going to suck to get going. I also hope we don't stall out on the 2%, right? Like, because we're going to get to a point of 0 velocity, and then we have to start rolling the other direction. And I'm hoping that 2% is enough to get that to happen.
It should be. Like, any car should roll on 2% for real in Railroads Online. Who knows? We'll see. Hopefully it works.
What's the minimum grade you would need for a regular car, like a roller bearing modern car to roll? Would it roll down like a 0.001%, like 1 inch over 100 feet type thing, or like?
It's hard to say.
Because track's never that flat.
The track, I mean, that's the secret, is there is no flat track on the railroad. Mm-hmm. Like, there is literally
and it's like
no
bumpy
flat track
between ties and stuff even, right? Like, it's...
Yeah, there's, like, you can get close, and sometimes, like, they joke that shop track is the only level track, but our shop track's not actually level.
Does it slope out or in?
It slopes, so it slopes in from the turntable pit to the roundhouse doors. We found out the one day when the one locomotive didn't get tied down properly. And we came in the next day, and it was
roundhouse.
It didn't mash it. It just slowly rolled in and bumped into the doors. So it was just coupled into the doors basically when it was left 10 feet away. Previously, it's like, oh, okay. And then inside the shop, it's sloped kind of towards the back wall a little bit. So it's like it's very, very light, like not even 1%, like 0.5% or 0.25%, but enough that even plain bearing stuff will roll. So. I think we got to get the switch to go down, unless you got it on the way over.
I did not. I will. I mean, you're in the climax. You can slow up.
You run faster than me. So,
oh, do I actually?
Yeah. If you just sprint, you'll beat me there. So.
Oh wow, that's amazing. It's not much faster, but it's enough.
It's enough that you can get a little bit of separation. Yeah, that's how I was switching. I didn't realize that with the climax.
All right, so theoretically, this does go down a little bit of a hill as soon as we get off this switch. So you might just be able to park the climax here before the switch, and we might make it to the switchback.
All right, I'm just going to cut the throttle off and just
yeah, it's already disconnected, so you should just be able to jump on the coal cars here. And like,
yep, I just left I just turned the throttle off, so it'll roll back to the coal mine somewhere.
Hopefully
it won't derail.
Or we'll come back and find it binned completely.
Go find it later.
Are you?
It smells like Kenosha in this episode. You'll know why.
There's no way. Like, okay, so like I know gravity lines were a thing. We've talked about gravity lines before and stuff like that. But modern day, is it like completely illegal to run train other than in a hump yard? I know in a hump yard they run cars with without engines, but like on mainline rail, there's no way like mainline rail does anything without a locomotive tied to it, right? Like without a big diesel tied to it. Like
yeah,
just for the
pretty
brakes,
much, because you need to have... I mean, you could have a dump valve and have the air charged on the cars and stop them, but like it's not a finite decent amount of control, and there's no way to warn people. Like you don't have horns, bells, etc. Like there's no way to
so there's
warn
no
at
way
crossing,
this stuff
so
is done modern.
It's pretty bad if you let trains go rolling. There was a big thing on social media somewhat recently of a tank car that wasn't tied down properly at some industry, and it's like there's all these people posting like TikToks and shorts on YouTube of this tank car just hauling ass, like just by itself. Flies through the grade crossing, just one tank car, and it's like
empty,
oh,
or
yeah, that's bad. I think it was empty, but it was just like, yeah, there it goes, just hauling butts, just one tank car, just doing the thing.
Well, we'll pull up alongside it in our pickup and just jump on board, and then it'll
something like that. I don't know what they ended up doing to try and get it, but yeah, rolling stock, rolling freely on the main is kind of a frowned upon thing these days, particularly in the States. So,
all right, so I have the last car here.
Okay.
So what we'll do is if you jump off,
I jump off and get the switch.
Yeah,
right.
and then I'll brake as soon as I'm clear. We have 300 meter lead tracks now. So the only issue we're gonna run into is if we don't have enough momentum to make it far enough up this track, right? Because it's a 2% grade in both directions. So, but we always should.
You're clear the switch.
Okay, so I'm gonna let it roll as far as it can just to make sure we get maximum.
Get as much gravity.
Yeah, as much gravity as possible.
Ideally, we won't touch the brakes at all. But,
right,
but
exactly,
maybe we will.
And it'll just have enough. Okay, so we're stopping now.
I gotta say,
and we are moving. We're moving.
This is still the most ridiculous looking thing I've ever seen.
I don't know what you're talking about,
Hyce.
I did add the extra switchback as well, so we should end up with me in front at the very bottom.
We added this extra switchback, and now we're using it the one time when it didn't matter which way the consist ended up.
Yeah, well, it's now I'm not touching this piece of track ever again. 300 meters, like if people want 500 meter leads, they can build it themselves. Like that's
we're gonna double the switchback. It's fine at that point.
Dude, that actually worked really, really well.
The first one, yeah.
And we're at 2%, so I don't even know if we'll need brakes to slow down much, because we're not going to really pick up a whole heck of a lot of speed. We are picking up a little.
We're gonna have to see. We're doing a decent clip, but it's not scary fast yet.
No, not yet.
We're almost to the next switch, so I think we just want to kind of let it ride, and we might just seesaw our way down the mountain.
The next one might be a little spicy.
Might get a little fast
because it's longer. It's a longer lead, or a longer switch. I mean.
Oh right, to the next point of switch. Yeah.
Yeah, the next one's like way on the other side, and then the one after that, same thing. Like we do some big U's. This is unbelievable.
Now you jump off and
I jump off and grab this switch. Oh my god!
Right.
And you just make sure you don't hit the end is the biggest thing. All right, I jumped off.
From protecting the shove, quote unquote. I don't
the
know.
non-existent shove. Dude, it slows down so quick. It's awesome. I can't believe how fast it just loses all that speed.
That darn gravity thing, man.
Yeah, I know, right?
9.81 meters per second squared.
And we're pulling like 200,000 pounds, no, more than that, like 250,000 pounds of coal down the mountain.
It's fine. We're slowing down. All right, now change directions. Yay,
Unbelievable.
gravity works.
Dude, if this works without us touching anything, we could almost, if the switches were automated, we could almost do this completely automated.
Just kick the cars.
Just kick it and let it go, but obviously we still need to do the switches. I can't believe this is working. We didn't even, unbelievable. I never even thought of it. Cool. I thought we would have to brake the whole time. I didn't realize it. This is so ridiculous.
We're two switchbacks down, 6 to go.
Yeah, no, it's fine. This one
things go downhill, right? That's how this works.
This one looks really spicy if you look at the far side. I know it's all 2%, but it feels steeper,
You look down to the end of it, it's like, that's a lot lower than we are right now.
Yeah.
But it's also a lot of track, so.
This is riveting. So, old school days, we would just make flag signals to each other, right? Hand signals.
Something like that, yeah.
I was actually talking to a couple of my friends that don't really know much about trains, and I was kind of talking to them about trains and stuff, and they were like, they were talking to me about like cabooses and things. And I said, well, a caboose was like really, it was kind of used for brakemen as part of it. And then I told them, like I said, back in the day before air brakes were a thing on trains, you had to have guys jumping over cars, setting the brakes on each car one at a time, like jumping and going to the next and going to the next and going to the next. And it's like, the death toll in brakemen must have been pretty high. Like, I can't imagine That was a very safe
Deaths,
job.
injuries, everything. I mean, it was
Getting
definitely
pinched between two cars, like...
the getting coupled up is the technical term there, the industry term. Anyway,
Getting coupled up.
yeah, he coupled himself up. Yeah, my instructor at BNSF witnessed somebody doing that with a remote control locomotive, and
that sounds
look on that
painful.
man's face when he was telling that story was, yeah, you can tell that's not a fun thing to witness.
Yeah, no kidding.
And that was the turn of phrase he used, and it's like, well, that's descriptive. Yeah, no, they used to say that you could tell a new brakeman on the job in the Lincoln Pin era because he had all his fingers.
How would
anybody
you,
else?
Like, you're talking
Yeah.
like tying a, well, it can't be a quick process to tie a brake. Like in this, it's like, flick the mouse, done, the whole brake's tied. Like back, it must take you a good like 30 seconds to twist a whole brake shut, right? Like
Not 30 seconds. I mean, you spin it around real quick to tighten up the chain from entirely slack.
right.
And that's a couple rotations around the wheel, maybe 3-4 seconds, and then you start getting the brake to actually engage. And if you're really trying to get the brake to actually do something, you're using a brake club, big, basically a baseball bat with a square
Right.
off end on it, maybe 3 foot long or 2.5 feet long or whatever, and you put it between the spokes of the wheel and the shaft of the wheel, and you can use it as a bigger lever arm, which you really need to do because, I mean, you're trying to apply brakes on a train car through a series of levers and everything, and it gets to be a lot of force. And so anytime we're tying down the train, like if you want the handbrake to actually work with these old staff brakes, is what they're called, you got to use a brake club. And so you get the club on, and, you're really putting your back into it, and you ratchet it till you get the pawl in place to hold it. But, you could probably get a brake tied to a decent amount of hold and power in maybe 10 seconds. But, that I'm saying that with my experience tying those brakes while stationary, while you're going down the railroad and watching out for things and going around curves and stuff, like, I can't imagine.
And the cars are swaying
Yeah.
back and forth.
Cars
and,
are swaying,
bouncing
you're
and-
doing 30 mile an hour, being scared as hell going down the railroad. Yeah, that's
And,
probably
okay,
a whole
so
nother
here's another
experience.
thing too. In Railroads Online, the Lincoln Pin has a fair amount of slack, right? Is that realistic to the Lincoln Pin era, or would it be less slack, more slack?
Depends on the length of the link. I mean, they're just
Well,
forged.
okay, yeah, I
right?
get that, but
But-
like, do you think realistically they'd have shorter links than this then, or?
You'd want it to be relatively short because anytime you're banging back and forth, I mean, you're asking for stuff to break because that's where those transitions will break things.
Right.
And you don't have control over the train with air brakes, at least in the early days. So I imagine they used pretty short links, although I'm far from an expert on this because I've only gotten to play with knuckles, right? But the coupler itself, the link pocket, is designed to be a buff surface, and it has some amount of draft gear built into it. So I'd imagine that the link would need to be relatively short so that you could take up the any slack or anything in the actual spring structure that is the draft gear, the coupler. Because when you see like a knuckle coupler or this link pocket, that's not just, it doesn't just go straight bang into the car. There's what we call draft gear. And that's what actually transmits the force to the car. And if you didn't have draft gear, I mean, you'd be ripping out the wood sills of the car because all these cars are made out of wood. So basically what it is the coupler shank or the end of the link pocket would have basically a hollow opening in it with 2 blocks and a giant coil spring in between it. And then the 2 blocks can slide and ride in what we call cheek plates on the interior sills of the car. And so they allow for a little bit of translation left and right and forward and back. And then
you'd have
when
to
you come
actually
up
like
hard,
compress the cars a little bit to link them. You think? Like you'd have to probably like jam them a bit together against that. Like it wouldn't just be.
no, I don't think so. The coupler's probably going to sit wherever it's going to sit, and then I mean to actually link them in, I mean you just got to get the link far enough in each pocket to get the
Right.
to get it to work, and the pocket's going to be the same geometry regardless of if it's extended out or if it's pushed back in. I imagine there's some Lincoln Pin pockets that were just like built into the car and didn't have draft gear, but I definitely have seen some that had draft gear too. And anything that was a little bit more modern would have had that because of the weights of trains and stuff. But it allows for sliding and then taking up, the buff and tension forces of the train. So because anytime you have a transition, if you had a hard transition and you've got 100 cars and you're trying to have that hard transition propagate down 100 cars, you're going to break something. But if
Yeah,
you can
for sure.
have it smoothly, slowly make that change, then, you know.
Can we talk about how
that's the way
great
the
this
railroad
is
works.
currently working? Like, can we, like, honestly?
I was just wondering if you've put a brake on
I haven't
it, 'cause
touched. I haven't touched brakes once. I've literally just let this thing roll. It's amazing how this thing has been. I thought we would have binned it. We're past the longest legs. Like the longest legs are the second and third from the top. So like, you know, theoretically we should just make it. Oh, Hyce, here's the other glorious cut through the trees. The horizontal one.
Oh,
I found
is it?
There's a horizontal one here, and then there's a vertical one.
I need to come see it.
You see it right here to the left, right here, to the left.
Oh,
where
there
I'm
it
looking.
is.
Yeah, that's the horizontal cut of, you know, we need to put a church right in the middle of the two. I'll build a little church structure.
The giant cut in the trees. Yeah, that's where the high power tension lines are.
Yeah, there's
they deleted
another
them to backdate the map. You know.
Yeah, there's another cut the other way. So yeah, we'll put a church right at the intersection. And call
Now,
it.
so the real reason that works like that is because the way QMA programmed the trees is so that they're actually just an instance of one tree. There's one tree asset, and so you're theoretically only actually rendering the one tree, and every other tree is just a copy
right
of that one tree, and they're set up into 4 quadrants so that you can chop down as many trees in the quadrant without causing issues. Because early in the days of the game, once you chop down more than like 2,000 or 3,000 trees, all of the trees would come back because you'd get to the end of the float.
Oh, I see.
And you'd cycle back over and it would go back to 0.
I will say for performance,
that caused all
it
kinds
makes-
of fun problems.
It does make sense. There's a lot of trees in this game, and it's nice that they're not all individually rendered, because that
Yes.
would destroy like even
Yeah.
a really great computer.
Early on, we thought, like, when we were testing stuff, trying to figure out FPS problems and things, it was like, we always blamed the trees because there's 300,000 trees on the map.
Right, that's a lot.
Literally
of trees.
300,000. And QMA told us up and down, like, no, it's not the trees, it's not the trees. And he showed us the tests, and it's like 10 trees versus all 300,000. The FPS is the same. And it's like, well, that's actually, that is a neat bit of coding. So there are lots of weird little jank things in Railroads Online and plenty of things that we may complain about. But, you know, there are some neat things
Honestly,
in there too,
it's the same with video rendering. There's something really stupid with video. If you make like a text box or something, right? And then you make another text box and another text box, and if they're all the same, like sometimes I've done some split screen views where I have, like, you know, Scrapman and Moombo's perspectives on something, and I'll put their name in the top corner. And if I create the name individually each time as its own text box versus using only one text box at the beginning and having every other text box reference back to the first one, it takes less time to render if it's done as a reference than if it's done as a new version of the same thing.
Yeah.
Because software
one of those
is
RAM things,
ridiculous. Yeah. Just the way it is. Oh, look, here's the second cut. All praise the glorious tree cut.
Oh, is it? Oh, there it is.
You'll see it coming this way. So yeah, we got to find the intersection of the two cuts, and that's where there's clearly an Easter egg going on. You know, we haven't.
Clearly.
We'll go check that
we need
after
to host
this.
some kind of bizarre railroad seance in the middle of the woods at the intersection.
I'll put like a pentagram made of rail right in the middle of the two cuts.
No, so the secret, we've been talking about this, right? So like you've heard of Ouija boards where
we have one. My fiance and I, we have one in our house. And
I'm glad.
A couple friend of like my fiance is really big into like phasmophobia and like those ghost games, you know, like the scary games. And yeah, she bought a Ouija board because her and her friends play it. And our one other couple friend, her husband, I guess, her friend's husband, refused to let them have, like, she wanted a Ouija board in their house. And he's like, no, I'm not superstitious, but we're not having a Ouija board. And I'm like, bro, I'll have a Ouija board.
I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a minor stitious, not superstitious, you know?
Yeah.
But I was like, no, man, I'll have
yeah.
a Ouija board in my house. I don't care. That's great. Why not, right? So... Yeah.
Right, so theoretically, blah blah blah, communicating with the dead, whatever.
Yeah,
right.
Gotcha.
So the way that you get old railroaders is you got to get their old railroad timetable for the letters and an empty bottle of whiskey, and that's what you use as the finder.
That makes sense.
And that's how you summon Mickey McGowan. Is you got to get a CMS timetable and start chanting "Smells like Kenosha" while you
if
move
you
the
say
whiskey
like
bottle
Mickey
around.
McGowan 3 times in a row, does he appear, or is that just?
I'm pretty sure your train just derails on the spot.
Gotcha. We better not say it more
better
than
not
twice,
say that
then.
one.
Yeah. This is unbelievable, dude. This is actually the easiest way to transport coal, like, ever.
This is actually working too well.
There's no derail. If we make it all the way into the coal, like into the Ironworks coal drop off, then it's bellissimo. You know what I mean? Like
we just gotta get some centralized traffic control and just kick the coal cars at the top of the mountain, and it just works.
Right? Yeah. We need the centralized traffic control for all the auto switching. I know there's mods. We could just do it with a mod and then just sit there watching. But we'd have to be you have to be at the top watching the coal cars and make sure you watch what lead they're on.
Make sure that they make it.
Yeah. It's actually ridiculous how well this works, though. 2%, man. If it was 3, we would have derailed. It'd be too fast. The 2 is like just the right amount to keep them going, and
apparently just the perfect amount with the rolling resistance of the cars. Yeah.
And the 2% leads are fantastic because, like, if we had flat leads like I had before, this would never work. But the fact, like, now the only flat part is where each switches for just a small amount of, space, and then you're back on a grade, right? Which is just...
Yeah, this is working literally too well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's taking forever. It would be way faster to go down 10% grade and then derail the train everywhere and then
re-rail it. Yeah, true.
Wait a minute. Never mind. Yeah,
but we could do this. Once. We could get, like, double the number of hoppers or even triple and do the same thing, right? And theoretically, it would just work.
I wonder
if the speed is too much.
Yeah, like, I wonder if it scales. Like, are we at the perfect ratio of loaded cars to the rolling resistance to the grade? Or would 16 cars become too much weight, too much potential energy, and it would overcome the rolling resistance? Like, I don't know.
But every car you increases its own rolling resistance, right?
Right,
but like theoretically...
what if it's a slight, what if we're right at the balance?
Well, right? Maybe, but theoretically gravity wouldn't change, so like it should always scale the same. The only thing that would be is the fact that this car is 3 coal short of full, so maybe we have just, if this was full, we'd be over that threshold.
Truly full train.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like maybe that's the issue, because this car at the back is technically providing more rolling resistance with less weight, so it's the only one.
The rolling resistance scales with weight, though, or at least it should.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if it does.
These are big brain questions we don't have the answers to.
Look, there's fire in the sky over there.
Oh,
I didn't know we supplied oil to the refinery. Look at that; it's already refining.
Well, it's those are the burn-offs, and
So
refinery wouldn't technically. Would it have burn-offs? I don't know. Because I know oil wells do. My brother worked in oil and gas for a while. Out of university. He's a chemical engineer, and he worked in oil and gas. And I know he watches my videos. So hi! But anyway, I don't know if he'll watch that or not. But if he did, then, it is what it is. But he worked in oil and gas, and he explained a lot about how that works. And on the top of an oil well, there's a flare stack for burning off the, like, sour gas and stuff that comes out. He's probably going to butcher me because I probably got it wrong. But yeah, so like the gas buildup that like actual gas, like, air gas type, vapor, whatever. Anyway, it burns off the top of the stacks, and that's what it is. And, he was saying when you just start up a new oil well, they actually use a flare gun to light it. They'll just shoot it with a flare gun. And
that's fun.
Like, big poof, and then it's lit, and that's what it's for. I don't know if refineries would have a burn off or not. I don't know if they need to burn off.
Who gets to shoot the flare gun? Like, how do they decide
somebody.
That? I want to know.
But
what's the ritual? That's fun.
But yeah, they just shoot flare guns, and that's pretty much it. He told me some stories about oil and gas once. Working on those remote sites where you go out there for a couple weeks, and you're in the middle of nowhere, and it is what it is. Bunch of dudes in a cabin, and
right, that kind of vibe. But you're working on big, oily,
like 7
things.
days a week on oil and stuff, and
it's fine.
Yep.
Con, the cars are looking a little spicy back on my end.
No, we're getting down to
they're
fine. We're good. Okay. We're getting to the right when you hit this fill. This is where we start to go down from like 2% down to 1 and stuff. This is kind of like,
if we make it all the way.
I know we're on like 1.5 probably grade now, maybe down to 1. Like this is a really long.
It is a long run to the Ironworks, and I did line the switches in, so we're lined into the Ironworks to the coal unloading.
But this is very flat and straight. There's not a lot of turning resistance, so.
Right. I don't know if turning resistance is actually modeled in the game. But...
Well, let's pretend.
We'll pretend. If it were a real railroad, it's there.
Watch,
It's
I've
fine.
forgotten like one turn or one chunk of track somehow on this when I was deleting it, but nah, we just got to the switch. This will be the refinery turn-off switch, because
Someday when we get
Someday.
there. We haven't
you
even
connect-
gotten to the oil field yet. We'll have to get there.
the
at some
oil
point.
field's so easy. It's literally just turn and you're there.
Literally there. Yeah.
There's a main line that we already have. We just need to put a switch on either side of the main line, make a Y, and boom, done, go to the oil field, right?
Right.
How we lay out the oil field industry, I don't know. I've always done a loop there because it's easy, but like maybe we'll do something different. I don't know.
I've always just done stubs, because you have a Y on the way in, so it's like you can just
Yeah,
turn
you
around
can just
whichever
use that
way.
Y to,
So you just back in and then
yeah.
pull out. Yeah.
But you're backing in off the main. That's the issue.
Yeah, it's just not.
I
ideal,
don't.
but,
I
mean,
don't
it's
think we're
doable.
making this heist. I think the rolling resistance is.
Is this getting to us now?
I don't know. We're not moving very quick, and we haven't even made it to the switch. I'm just checking brakes, as I just want to make sure
We're
we
getting
never had any
close to the
brakes set this
switch,
whole time.
Right? Oh, we're kind of getting close to the switch.
Oh god, I was dead there. Yeah, I've never had brakes. Wow, amazing.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go grab the Mosca, or at least get it fired up at the Ironworks, because I think we're gonna.
Well,
stall out
it
here.
wasn't bad. You know, that wasn't the worst.
No, the fact that it worked as well as it did for all the switchback piece is
The
hilarious.
fact that we didn't have to brake, that's what blows my mind. I thought for
That-
sure we'd be braking, like on the switchback, we'd be breaking up the thing. No braking, just
I was
run
right
it.
there with you. Yeah, the fact that just worked like that.
yeah,
Was,
that was amazing.
yeah.
That was the most effortless adventure. You know, there's like no derail risk there at all. I feel like we could scale this up. I mean, we don't have the money to scale it up, but I feel like we could.
So someday we shall buy more hopper cars.
Yeah, and
It's
find
fine.
out. The 300-meter leads, too, it just feels like you have so much extra space on each lead track. Like, we weren't even close to the end of each lead, you know?
Right.
We had,
You could run a lot of cars on that.
Yeah.
Most narrow gauge cars were roughly on the order of 30 foot. That's actually our standard car count at the museum is 30 feet, which always makes it fun when you're comparing car counts to other people on other railroads, because everyone's a little different depending on scope. Like, some standard gauge railroaders use 50-foot car counts for 50-foot box cars back in the day. So you might be at a tourist railroad where they got a lot of 50-foot cars, and that's their car count. And most modern day railroads, cars are 85 foot long, so one
Right.
car is 85 feet. And so one real car count on the big railroad is like 2.5 of our narrow gauge cars. So we use 30 foot because that's what all our little freight cars are, and our passenger cars might be like 40 foot. But it's close enough. That's one car. It's close enough within the margin error, and you can measure out 30 foot by the length of the rail, because the rail segments we use are all 30 foot long unless they've been cut. So it's pretty easy to see. So it's
Do you have a
kind
pin
of
at
funny
all, or
thing.
no?
I do.
Okay.
Well,
Unbelievable.
you almost rolled to the
Almost
switch.
right.
That's-
I think I would have kept going all the way to the switch. You're going to dunk that real
Dunk.
hard. There we go.
That
Okay.
wasn't real
You're
hard.
good.
It's fine.
Yeah, the cars are kind of heavy. They didn't even care.
They're just like, bro, we're full of coal. We're
Yeah.
tons and tons of coal, literally.
Wow. I can't believe how amazingly successful that was. Oh, God, that was...
Yeah, you almost got eaten by a train.
Yeah, I
there.
got stuck in like a weird glitchy spot, but... Wow.
Some of the
Unbelievable, dude.
hitboxes are strange, yeah.
Unbelievable. That was, yeah.
That's a first.
I'm
That's the-
literally speechless. I don't even know what to say. I thought that was
The
going to be so
best-
much harder than it was.
The best gravity line that we didn't even know was
Yeah.
going to work that way.
Yeah. Like,
It's supposed to be for going uphill, but it works way better going downhill.
Yeah, apparently
Magic.
2% is just the magic number, right? Like, are you lined into the unload?
We are, yes.
Perfect.
And I want to say you're holding the wallet this week, yes?
Yeah,
Yes.
I have $2,200. This will actually pay
Yeah.
pretty decently. And we're gonna make more iron
back
products.
in
We've
the
got a
can.
lot of pipe there. We probably should connect up to the oil field, because I think the oil field takes like pipe and lumber or something, doesn't it? So
Pipe. It's either lumber beams and
Yeah.
then the tools. Yeah.
and the tools, which we'll have tools from this nonsense. So
Right.
we don't have enough raw iron here anymore. We're out of raw iron. Yeah, so we'll have to bring raw iron here at some point. Oh, our coal pile is actually gonna get spicy size. This is great.
We're gonna get a big coal pile. I'm
151. Wow, you gotta slow down like crazy.
Working
I'm
on
not
it,
gonna unload
working
because
on
you're
it,
not gonna
working
stop
on
in
it,
time.
Working on it. Working on it.
Yeah,
fine.
there we go. Get some coal blocks there.
Look at that beautiful brick of coal.
Playing Minecraft now. We've got these coal bricks.
Yeah, did you punch the entire brick of coal?
No, I did not.
Oh. You gotta punch it with your fist.
But
That's
in
how the game
Minecraft,
works,
if you
right?
punch coal, you won't actually mine it, I don't think. I think you need a pickaxe.
That's true. You do need a pickaxe.
Yeah,
you need
see,
at
we know
least
things. We know Minecraft.
At least a wood pickaxe, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's a wood
Some
pickaxe.
stuff you need to have the iron pick for. But
Yeah, the
occasional
iron
coal you
pickaxe
just-
is for
Wood
the
pickaxe
diamonds,
sadness.
the diamonds and the redstone. You can't do that with
Right.
the iron. 'Cause it's
I play. I'm gonna show how old I am, everybody. When did I start playing Minecraft? Before the creeper existed. There
Yep.
you go.
Bro, I remember playing Minecraft back in like the early days of like the the beta version or whatever, the alpha version, the terrible like pre-release version of it where everything
the
was just
dev version.
yeah,
INF
everything was
dev
just
when I
jank
got
and
in.
it didn't even like have anything. It was great.
That game. So
Yeah.
much. So many memories.
All right, we're good. Unloaded 228 coal out of 1,000. We got a lot of coal, man. Our coal pile is looking great.
But the real question is, how many dollars do you have?
Ah, that is great. 3,300. I made 1,100 bucks. 3363,
That's
which
wonderful.
we need $6,000 to buy a new engine, so we're still on the
Pretty
money
much.
making train. But if we connect up to the oil well, then we'd need. Oh God, you're taking this corner so spicy. This is a depot corner. You're not supposed to take it at that spicy. Jesus,
It's fine. Nothing happened.
dude, this
Did
is
you
like a
die?
55 meter radius. Like I tried to do it from the bow yards or whatever, so it's like really or from the not bow yards. I don't know, trapezoidal yards.
Nice and spicy. It's fine.
Yeah, it's a tight corner. All right, you bringing this back to the hump yard, right? You're gonna hump these.
I figured that's the move. Yeah.
Might as well. Yeah, we're down here already. They kind of did the loop. That's cool. They got like to the iron mine, to the smelter, back up to the coal mine, back down to hump
They've
yard.
circumnavigated the railroad. Can you get my switch, sir?
Nope. I jumped off in the wrong direction. Got you. There you go, sir. Back to the hump. I'm gonna go check out real quick just what the oil wells take in terms of industry, just because I feel like that's the appropriate expansion point. Depending on
It is the next on the list. Yes.
yeah, the problem is we need some frickin' tanker cars if we want to get oil, right? So it's like,
Right.
and we
But
need a box car.
That's taking the product out. We need to get some box cars to deliver tools to them.
Yeah, we need.
So we gotta get more
we need to
cars,
get
but-
a singular box car.
Right, because they hold like 32, don't they?
Yeah, it's like 32 tools in one box car, and like it's 2 feet away from the Ironworks. We could literally have a guy with like a porter in a box car doing tool deliveries.
Here's your job. Shuttle this box car back
Yeah.
and forth.
I mean, pretty
What
much.
takes
right?
longer, waiting for the crane to load 32 tools or running to the oil field?
I feel like they would just get a truck and just drive it here. You know what I mean?
But they didn't have trucks in 18 question mark.
Horse and buggy, sir. Horse and buggy with
They would do that, yes.
that would have been much faster than. Oh, that's right. This one you've got to load the oil from the middle platforms, and then you have to.
Right.
Yeah, so you basically just have to build like a series of switching lanes all next to each other. This takes tools, beams, and pipe. Steel pipe.
Tools, beams, and pipe. All right.
And then we have 2 loading spots where we load up the oil. Yeah, so pretty much we just need to get a single box car. We could supply this, and then beams from lumber is easy, and steel pipes is just on the log cars, isn't it?
Yeah,
think
the
it's the
log
log
bunks
cars.
take the steel pipes, yeah.
Well, this will be an easy industry to
Why-
connect up
what-
to then.
Why am I... Get me in the cab, please.
I'm gonna
Please.
jump
There we
over
go.
here and just see what you're up to. Where are you? Oh,
I was
hello.
being stuck inside my tender, kind of.
This is good, actually.
fine.
You're aligned to be your own hump engine in reverse. So this is
Yeah, it's perfect.
perfect. I'm
Get
gonna
on
hop
the
on
other
board,
side
so I don't
and-
have to.
Yeah, be a lazy railroader, just
Yeah,
ride.
exactly. I don't know why I'm running.
But you got the pin? Is that what I heard?
No,
Yes,
you're.
correct?
I was gonna say you should get the pin, and then I'll
Got the pin,
I'll
right.
put you into the hump, into the proper
All right.
hump.
That's the
This-
wrong button.
This goes into the
There we
4th
go.
lane, right? Yeah.
All right. Shoving
Yeah.
back
So
up. over
so
the
I
hill.
guess getting a steam locomotive moving feels like it would be a much more difficult process than getting a modern diesel.
Very, very true. But when
I feel
you're
like a
talking
modern
about longer
diesel, it's
cuts
just
of
like,
cars and-
you put in the Xbox controller, you pull right trigger, she moves forward. You pull left trigger, it moves backwards. You know, like it's
not exactly, but compared to Steam Engine, yeah, a little bit.
I mean, they're gonna have automatic traction control. They're gonna have like, there's no way a modern diesel doesn't have a wheel slip detector that automatically pulls off the throttle when you're slipping, right? Like it's
even diesels in the 70s started getting that outfitted.
Right.
So I mean, that's very much the case. So it's a lot easier. But I mean, with the long cuts of cars and long trains these days, it can be a long time. Not necessarily that it's hard or easy, but it can be a long time to, get that whole mess moving again. So it's a lot of wasted time if you do stop. So that's one. And it's I don't know if it's the best example. I'm sure there's other rules that are ones that are things that were done all the time that have now been verboten by the rules and all that stuff. I'm just struggling to think of any other ones. I mean, obviously, one of the ones that was really common back in the day was drinking on the job. I mean, good God.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of common in everything, though.
That was common in every practice, not just the railroad.
You just drank on every job. That was just people were allowed to drink and drive, too, back in the day. Like, it was,
Right.
And then we realized how stupid that is. Like, thank God, you know?
Yeah. The little... the 10th size bottles of whiskey, not fifth size, but the half of a fifth size bottles of whiskey are slim and tall because it would fit in your overall front pocket behind your timetable.
Oh,
like,
perfect.
It's literally where that design came from back in the day. And it's like, oh my God, this was really just a thing. There's stories in like Little Engines and Big Men, and he like briefly mentions it. It's like, oh, everyone on the railroad drank, but everyone could hold their liquor and it was fine. And it's like, well... Yeah.
Could they hold their liquor, or was it the fact that the rails kept the train on the track for the most part?
You don't have to steer.
You don't have to steer. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, I am curious. Before we go, I need to know.
Uh-oh.
I need to know. I'm breaking. I'm gonna go to the coal mine via teleport.
Oh,
where did the climax?
Where did the climax? I totally forgot that you just left it.
I just kicked it. Just let it roll down the hill. So I don't know. Is it going to be an end of track at the coal mine, or is it going to be? Is it anywhere over there?
It's over here, dude. It went into the Y.
Really?
It went into the Y, and it is sitting here on the Y. It's not even up against the stopper either. Maybe it bounced off the stopper or something, or this is where it ended up. It
still hasn't rendered on my end, so I'm glad you came with me. Oh, there it is.
Wow.
The 5 is standing by. There it is.
Unbelievable. It needs to go
no Kenosha's today, everybody.
Yeah, I can't believe that. It survived.
That's a treasure.
That's so great. Well, let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. This is I think the only episode in the entire series where we haven't had a single derailment.
I mean, we had at least one other that.
You had one other. I had a derailment in that episode, but I hid it.
Oh, that's right. You derailed off camera on my end.
I just pretended that it didn't happen, but it definitely did.
So this is the first reel. There was no derailments, and it's because we had no way to apply power. Got it. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Yep. See y'all next time.
Bye.